Quick note, before you crimp a wig, before you apply heat to a wig, make sure you are checking heat resistance, because you don't want to apply too much heat and then your wig fibers melt off and then you cry and you have to get a new wig. Don't do that. I did not do that today, but I've done it in the past. I used 200 degrees today, and I usually use 200 degrees Celsius on my wigs from Epic Cosplay, and it works because of how fast I am crimping. But while experimenting, I did do lower temperatures. I did higher temperatures. That burned the wig, so I stopped it. Check and experiment. If your wig is not from Epic Cosplay, don't just automatically go in with even 180 degrees. Check the wig for heat resistance and how high it is, either by experimenting directly on the wig or looking at the website or the listing for that specific wig. Arta wigs and Epic Cosplay wigs all are heat resistant. Test things, be safe, be careful. It's not the end of the world if the wig fibers come off, but it is annoying. Be safe. Hello. All right. Crimping video. I separate out along a line of the weft when it comes to these parts where you can. At the top, it's a little different. It just depends on how I want to do it. But along the bottom, I just take a few rows. I have the rest clipped down so that it doesn't get in the way. The already crimped stuff is kept down. And I have some of it loose and then the rest clipped up. I'm only doing about 3 rows of wefts that way. So then I separate it out and I just go along like this. You can use a comb like this or this, any like thing like that to separate it out. Pull out the parts I want down. I have the bangs separated out too, but that is a later me problem. Yeah, that's it. Bang piece didn't like it separated. I'll just clip it up in a second. Yeah, I don't really care if this part's tangled. You can brush it out while you're doing this, but I just want to get it twisted so that I can clip it up with one of my big alligator clips. Out of the way. Double check that everything that should be down is. And then there are a lot of small, short fibers. They're sticking up. So you don't have to, but I sometimes will just use smaller clips to keep that stuff up and out of my face. It won't really matter in the end, but it helps a little bit. And then especially over here where like this part is kind of drooping down in front of the top of the wefts that I'm actually working on. I don't know if you can see it. It's like you can't really see the top of the weft unless I hold that up. So in situations like that, if I can't get it perfectly, instead of messing around for like 5 years trying to get it perfect, I'll just do that. And getting that bang piece clipped up because that is going to be dealt with at the end. And then I will turn it again so you can see where I start. I always go from the left around to the right. Not that it matters, you can do right to left, but just keeping it organized helps. Having a specific way helps. What is this? I don't know what this is. Oh, the bangs. See, my life is a mess. So the top fibers, so they don't get in the way, I'm going to clip more. Lots of clippy clips. And then this part is important, so I am going to take a small portion of hair. My goal is to have it so that when it spreads out, I can words, I promise. It's not going to be wider than the part that actually crimps on the crimper. And this might look okay, like this much might look okay, but it will spread out more. So I'm not taking that much. You want a smallish chunk, usually about 1.5 inches. Not that I actually measure, I just estimate, because it doesn't matter. Then I don't want it to be too little. Like, it can be little, it's just a waste of time and also annoying sometimes. But if it's too much, it just won't, it'll take forever for each independent section to crimp. And if it's too thick, like if it's too wide, then you have to go over it multiple times anyway, because the crimper won't go over the entire strand. And if it's too thick, like too many layers of wefts, then the pieces that are directly touching the crimper will get crimped more than the fibers in the middle. So you don't want that. So I'm gonna take, where is it? I just estimate. You can use a comb to get it perfect. I don't really worry too much about perfection with this part. And then I'm going to clip this back so that it doesn't get mixed in. And I know exactly where the piece that I'm working on is in case I lose my hold on it. And then I'm going to go, how do I make this so you can see clearly? I have another video from another angle, it's fine. So usually what I've seen people do and what I was told to do by videos was that you would just like hold, like close it, hold it for like 1, 2, 3, 4, or something like that, like a few seconds or to the count of like 3 or 4, and then release and then move down and then release and then move down, just always going down and being very, like getting sharp, exact lines all the way down. I never really liked that way, because then you get that really zigzaggy wig that just, it kind of just doesn't look that good to me. Not that it's not good for some people, it's just not my preference. So what I do is exactly what they say not to do, which is just that one I'll hold down for a little bit, but I prefer to just clip constant. You can't see it if I do that, but all the way down. Already see that it's crimped, but it's more fuzzy. It's not as exact sharp lines as if you just held it down. I'm also going to just run over it to get rid of some of the frizziness. The top will be more frizzy because Epic Cosplay wigs have shorter strands mixed in with the longer strands in order to add a thickness on the top so you can't see the wefts when the wig is all down, without adding too much weight to the wig. So I have that. I usually will do it all at once, but I'm showing you as I'm going. Then I'll go and I'm holding it down here, like loosely. As you can see, like it's able to move around in my hand. I'm not gripping, but I'm holding it enough so that I can get the crimper around the entire amount. And then I just lightly hold it so it doesn't move too much as I'm doing this. And if I need to, I'll just like brush down it as if it's not a crimper, but a straightener to slightly straighten it. The goal with doing this is to not get the sharp lines, but to get the texturizing part of crimping, which is the main point, is to texturize the wigs, at least for me. You can see some lines along it, like if I pull you guys in closer, you'll see that there are lines a little bit, but it's not as easy to tell. I also like to go in with a comb, and then I'm going to keep going down this length. And when I'm doing it all at once, I can finish length of this. What is this? I don't know how long this is. I don't know anymore. Don't ask me. Let me adjust your view. Thanks. Hi. But if I'm just going and not recording and trying to explain the process, it doesn't take too long with this method. And I'm going over it multiple times because that's what makes it, like, it gives me better control over exactly how crimped it is, as opposed to the, like, holding for longer. Part of that is that I'm not heating it at a low temperature. I'm heating it, well, how do I explain it? I'm using a higher temperature, but I'm going faster. So the wig fibers are getting heated faster than if I were to use the lower temperature they usually suggest. Like a lot of wig stylists will say, like, don't put it, my crimper, you can't really see the numbers, but the options are 140, 160, 180, 200, and 220 in Celsius. I have it set to 200. Usually you would set it lower. I suggest, while learning, to set it to a lower temperature. But when you do it higher, you can go faster. And I like speed. I like to get it done. See, I'm going along. I'm doing very little at the ends, because if you do it too much, they will get frizzy. And if you do, just straighten over it. If you do go too far and it looks a little too frizzy, just close, hold, go down. Just like a straightener, it'll help smooth out some of the frizziness. And then while I'm doing this, I'm feeling for how texturized it is. And this bottom part felt too smooth, so I'm going over it with the crimper again to make sure it's somewhat even, and then one soft, like, push down. That feels better. It feels more even throughout the length. And if I were to go back to an already crimped section, it feels the same as the rest of it. Like, it feels about the same. You want to have it to be, I am great at this speaking thing. You want it to be even across the different, like, sections. So then once I finish this section, and it's cooled, you have to make sure it's cooled or you'll get a weird, like, mark if you put a clip in it. So I'll go and just use a clip. Make sure not to use metal clips on hot things too, because they get hot. Keep the plastic and metal clips away from the straightener too, you know, basic stuff like that. So then I would just take this out, pull out more, make sure it's not too thick at the top. I think that should be fine. Actually, it's a little too thin. Oh, it's a little unnecessarily thin. Yeah, we're going with that. And then I hold this to the side, pull this up, and I'll just go ahead and repeat this section and go all the way around. And then I take these top clips out. Well, no, I go all the way around until it's all crimped. And then I combine this finished crimped row with these. Just take these clips out, brush everything, and combine it all together. Take these clips out and separate another 2 or 3, usually 2 or 3 rows of wefts, and just repeat, repeat, repeat all the way up. Yeah,